even if Kansas City does win on Saturday, that the Bills still have something to play for in their game Sunday against the Patriots. And what it would be the difference of is playing an AFC title game potentially at Kansas City against the Chiefs, or if they get to the title game, playing it at a neutral site. And Buffalo would clearly rather have that at a neutral site rather than at Arrowhead.
That's a big deal.
Huge deal.
That took me a little while to figure out last night as I was going through all the permutations. Okay, so again, because we are where we are and Patriots fans care about the Patriots and how things might be impacting them, and I understand that. So if I'm a Patriots fan right now, the way you have to look at this is that Buffalo is going to have something to play for no matter what happens tomorrow between Kansas City and Las Vegas. To your point, Beetle, you would rather play in that neutral site game as opposed to going to Arrowhead. If you lose to the Patriots on Sunday, you have the potential for going to Arrowhead. The other benefit to me is just you would rather be the 2 seed than the 3 seed. So you're still vying for 2. Even if Kansas City wins on Saturday, you're vying for 2 with the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you're the 2 seed, you have the opportunity for potentially 2 home playoff games. Whereas if you're the 3 seed, you could be playing at home and then be on the road in the divisional round. So Buffalo has something to play for, something meaningful to play for, multiple meaningful things to play for against the Patriots. So if you were holding out hope that, well, if they don't have a shot at the bye week, then maybe they would sit someone, maybe Josh Allen plays a half. I really don't think so. They're going to be playing to win on Sunday, and that environment is going to be electric. And that is going to be an emotional tidal wave that hits them unlike anything I think we've ever seen. The entire world is rooting against the Patriots, which I guess for some of those guys, maybe they're used to that. You know, if you're Matthew Slater or you're Devin McCourty, you've been on some pretty successful Patriots teams. There is not a single person outside of New England that is hoping the Patriots win on Sunday.
It's been a crazy year for Buffalo. Like I brought up the snowstorms earlier. You know, they've had to dig themselves out. They've had to go back and forth to Detroit twice in a matter of 4 days. They've had some adversity, and then there's no adversity like what they faced this week. But you just saw Sean McDermott up there. He's doing his press conference. They tapped in live to it to Channel 5. He's up there flexing the muscles, like the strength is back. Like he's smiling ear to ear. That tells you the type of shot in the arm that, you know, being on FaceTime addressing the team has been for them with Hamlin. How's the Patriots preparation been this week? All systems go? Or?
Yeah, it's interesting that you asked that. I think the feeling that I got yesterday after being in the locker room and after talking to a number of people, players, staff, it still was sort of a somber mood yesterday. And the question that I was asking everyone was, how do you ratchet up? How do you muster the level of intensity that you need to play in any football game? But especially this week, when you're playing against a team and you're trying to beat, and you're trying to tackle, you're trying to hit, you are in some way trying to inflict harm on a group of people that you are experiencing a lot of sympathy for right now. And that is genuine. They're feeling obviously for Damar Hamlin and his family, but for that entire team, because they put themselves in their shoes going through that situation. What would it be like if one of our guys went down?
Yeah, see, I think...
How would you feel for them? And so how do you get to that level, though? How do you get to that normal level of intensity?
Let's get about
and so I think things changed a little bit today, especially with all the good news that they've gotten on Damar Hamlin, talking to Gerard Mayo, hearing from some people, again, in the building via text message and some other means. Like, it does feel like they've turned a corner in some way in terms of their emotional readiness for this game on Sunday.
So Buffalo's doing that. You have to do that then because, they're good. We're good. Like you get on a plane Saturday. It's all systems go. This is game week. You get your meeting schedules. You do that. You have a pregame meal. You get up early Sunday morning. You get to Orchard Park and you start feeling that environment. Now we got to get ready to play. You know, you get in the locker room, start smelling the Flexol, all that stuff. You know, getting taped up, get there early, get taped through your stadium walk. You know, fans are going to be jacked up. You're ready for them anyway. See, you played in crazy Buffalo environments before. From a fan perspective, I think you got to survive the first 8 minutes of this game somehow because there's going to be a wave.
Don't you think this will be different than any Buffalo game? You're right. Yeah. Buffalo is I'm trying to keep chaotic, difficult
Patriots
place to play no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of the more intense environments they've played in over the years since I've been covering the team. And the game that stands out most to me is that Week 4 game in Kansas City in 2014 where they were trying to set the volume crowd volume record. The Guinness Book of World Records record had been seized from them at some point. I think it maybe was the year before. I have to go back and look.
Denver
Was it the year before that Seattle got it during the Beast Quake and Marshawn Lynch's touchdown run? And Seattle, I think, took the crown, quote unquote, from Kansas City. And so this was this big, sort of cheesy thing that they were doing that night. But it resulted in unbelievable crowd noise. And we know what happened. They got their doors blown off in that game. And that was a badass Patriots team. We know they end up winning a Super Bowl. But that's a team that's led by Tom Brady, that's got a bunch of experienced guys, future Hall of Famers. How is this offense going to handle the level of crowd noise and the emotion that's going to be thrown at them when they're on the field this weekend? I don't anticipate it's going to go all that well.
We don't have a lot of faith in them in a quiet stadium with no spectators right now. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
142.2 decibels reached at that Kansas City
They set the record, right? That night.
That is the Guinness World Record. That is a little fiction and fact from the Phil Perry Almanac right there. That's good stuff.
And I think it had been recently taken from them, and they have so much pride in their Arrowhead Stadium environment that it led to this, again, a kind of a cheesy thing, but it made it a really difficult place to play. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to function just because of the crowd noise. Not necessarily, again, I think emotionally they'll be okay. I think by the time they get to the game, there will be emotion there, and it'll differ from player to player in terms of how these guys handle it. But I think with all the good news that's been out there now on Hamlin, that has made it, my understanding is at least, that has made it so much better inside the walls of Gillette Stadium this week as those guys get ready. Because I think there's a little bit of a weight off of them now. It's okay, we can approach our job the way we normally would, and we don't, the weight, the stress that's on their shoulders in some ways as having to be the team that goes in and plays Buffalo after something like that. I think it's been alleviated a little bit. I think there's been a little relief with the good news that they've heard on Hamlin.